This lecture is about introduction to an electrochemistry. It is quite clear from the word electrochemistry that electrochemistry is something to deal with electricity and a chemical reaction. So in a simple word, electrochemistry tells us about the relationship between chemical reaction and electricity. We study electrochemistry in two ways. In first way, we study about a relationship between a chemical reaction and electricity. So this means that in electrochemistry in first way, we study that there are certain types of chemical reactions which can generate or which may produce an electric charges or electrons, and these electrons when move they can create an electric. Simple study of the chemical reaction which causes the electricity is a chemical battery. In chemical battery there usually take place a chemical reactions, and due to a chemical reactions charges or electrons just start to flow in a circuit and they create electricity. In second way of electrochemistry, we study a relationship between an electricity and chemical reaction. So in this case, dear student, external electric field or external electric potential is applied on different kind of chemicals, and these chemicals usually deassociates and due to oxidations and reduction reactions. The electric charge will flow and they will basically generate an electricity. So in second way of study of electricity, we basically used an electricity as an external force by using external potential or a battery on a chemical reaction on a chemicals, and due to a higher potential of a battery they forcefully cause oxidation reduction reaction inside the chemicals. So if I simply conclude the electrochemistry, electrochemistry is a branch of a chemistry which deals with the study of electricity and chemical reactions. The relationship of electricity and chemical reaction usually take place in electrochemistry in two ways. In first way, uh, we study about the chemical reactions there and they causing the electricity by oxidation reduction reactions. And in second way, we study electrochemistry by applying an external potential on a chemical, and they cause and there is a certain of types of chemical reactions are caused by in the chemical due to the electricity or due to electric potential, and they generate an electricity. So these are the two ways of studying electrochemistry. So now, dear student, according to the first way of studying electrochemistry is just studying the generation of a chemical generation of an electricity by a chemical reactions. Chemical reaction generating an electricity. Now the student question here is that what is an electricity? Electricity is a flow of electrical charges, or it is a flow of electron along a certain or a specific direction. When electron flows from one point to another point, electron generate an electric current current and the flow of electric current is known as an electricity. Basically, there are two types of chemical reactions: oxidation and reduction chemical reactions. In oxidation reduction reaction, an atom A, suppose this is an atom A and this is an atom B, electron are basically in oxidation reduction reactions are transferred from one atom to another atom. So if the transfer of electron between an atom is channelized, then electricity may be generated between these two atoms. Usually, the electrons flow is between two atoms or between two chemicals or channelized by connecting these two separate atoms with a wire. Like suppose these are two A and B atoms. These two atoms or these two chemicals in electrochemistry are connected with usually with conducting wires. And when an oxidation reduction reaction takes place, the electron from A atom will flow through a wire and toward in the direction toward the atom B, and in this way an electricity will be generated or will be caused by the oxidation reduction reactions between two different chemicals. Now, dear students, the second way of studying electrochemistry is the electricity or electric potential electricity causing a chemical reactions between different atoms. Suppose we have two atoms, atom C and atom D. And this atom C is not willing to transfer electron from C to D, and it don't want oxidation, reduction reactions. So in such cases, we apply usually an electric potential or a battery with positive and negative terminal. This is a battery V, and these are atom C and D. A battery with a terminal having a positive and negative potential is applied on atom C and D, and due to the current of the battery, a high potential battery, there will occur oxidation, reduction reactions. So this is a broad image or a broad perspective of an electrochemistry. So in a simple word, in electrochemistry, we study about the chemical reactions causing the electricity or electricity causing a chemical reactions. Now consider the examples of two ways of studying electrochemistry. In first way, we study in electrochemistry by studying the way with which a chemical reactions basically generating an electricity. Example of a chemical reaction generating an electricity is galvanic cell. Galvanic cell is basically it is a cell which in which there occurs a chemical reaction in a solution, and that chemical reaction in a solution usually it is oxidation, reduction reactions, and due to the oxidation reduction reactions electrons flow from one solution to another solution and they generate an electricity. Suppose this is a one portion of a cell which is composed of a solution A, and this is second part of the cell which is composed of a solution B. Now, galvanic cell usually consists of electrodes. These electrodes are anode and as well as cathode. Suppose this is cathode and this is anode. Now, every atom or has an ability of pulling electron, such as zinc has lesser ability of pulling electron than the copper Cu plus 2 ions. So usually in galvanic cell, zinc is used as a part of a cathode, our cathode is made up of a zinc atom, whereas anode is made up of copper atom, and the solution of the cell in which there is a copper, it consists of Cu2 plus ions. So the copper has a higher pull as compared to the zinc. Then the two electrons from the zinc, electron from the zinc will be transferred when they are connected through a certain kind of wire, will be transferred into a copper, and copper will be converted, Cu2, which is in the form of ion, will be converted into C plus neutral copper. So in this way, the transfer of electron from a zinc to the copper, due to the higher rate of a pull of a copper, will cause a generation of electricity. So, dear student, this means that we don't need any kind of external source or external power to generate an electricity between zinc and copper, but we just need a connection or conducting wire between zinc and power and copper, and they in its own will transfer or will move electron from a low pulling electron rigid to the higher pulling electron chemical, and in this way electricity will be generated. So there will be two kind of chemical reactions between zinc and copper electrode. These chemical reaction will be oxidation reactions and reduction reactions. The oxidation reaction is a chemical reaction in which the electrons are transferred from one atom to another atom. So in oxidation reaction, electron will be transferred from a zinc to a copper. Whereas in reduction reaction, zinc, the copper Cu2 plus ion will gain Cu plus 2 electrons, and the copper will become neutral. So on the cathode side of the galvanic cell, there will be an oxidation reaction, and whereas on the anode side of the galvanic cell, there will be a reduction reaction. So in a simple word, if we explain a first way of study of electrochemistry, we study about the transfer of the we study about the transfer of the chemical reaction causing the generation of the electrons or generation of the electricity. In this, we the example of first way of electrochemistry is a galvanic cell, and galvanic cell is a basically cell in which there occur a chemical reactions like oxidation and reduction reactions, and these oxidation and reduction reaction basically transfer. In oxidation reaction, the electrons are transferred from cathode toward the anode of the galvanic cell, and the anode of the galvanic cell usually consists of copper ion. So copper has a maximum pull of the electron, so it will gain electron, and due to the difference of the pulling of the electrons between these two chemicals of the galvanic cell, there will be a transfer of an electric charges or transfer of an electron. And this transfer of electron on its own will generate an electricity. So, dear student, the second way of the studying the electrochemistry is applying an electricity or electric potential to generate a chemical reaction. In this way, or in this condition of applying an electric potential causing a chemical reaction, we usually use a battery as an external source of a potential. And this battery is applied on a solution which is present inside any kind of a container. Solution. Suppose this is cathode represented by C and this part plate is anode represented by A. So when the potential is applied on this solution, then this, if the potential is quite higher than the binding energy of the chemical present in the solution, then this potential will cause deassociation of the chemicals into chemical solution into an ion, and this process is also known as electrolysis. Suppose that the solution is water, then upon the application of this electric potential, the water H2O molecule will be converted into H2 plus oxygen atom. So in this way, in chemical applying electric potential, the chemical or this the chemical or the solution will be deassociated into different types of atoms. So now usually, as you know, that has two oxygen O required two electrons, whereas hydrogen H2 has two additional electrons, so they will transfer these electrons toward the oxygen atom, and in this way oxidation reduction reaction will take place. So in a simple word, if I conclude electrochemistry is a branch of a chemistry which deal with either chemical reaction causing an electricity or electricity causing a chemical reaction. In simple word, a chemical reaction causing an electricity, the example of this is galvanic cell. In galvanic cell, there are chemical solutions, and when the plates like electrode, the cathode and anode of the of the solution, when they are in contact with each other by a wire or by any means, then the charge will transfer from negatively charged plate toward the positively charged plates and inside a solution, and in this way an electricity will be generated. The second way of study of electrochemistry is deassociation of a chemical solution by applying electric field or by applying external potential. So in this way, in this condition, external potential is basically applied on a chemical solution, and this potential break the binding energy of the atoms of which are present in a solution of a chemical, in like H2O into H2 plus O, and in this way the way of electricity breaking the chemicals or solution into different kinds of ions. This is the second way of studying electrochemistry. So this is all about the introduction to an electrochemistry.